Now look at us. We rising up. You don't really know I shine. Me, I got something that I need to prove. I cannot lose, nah. Everything I do that really is news. You look confused, why? You are what you choosing to do. Me, I've been making the moves, paying my dues, getting this done with the fam. Y'all know that I am the dude. Bend that low, hit that high, got that hustle, got that drive. One more time, best alive. I want it all, everything mine.
All right, man, y'all already know what time it is, dude. Thursday night is right here, right now, dude. Minnesota is playing against the Los Angeles Rams, dude. I'm pumped about this game, and to be honest with you, I don't like either one of these fucking teams, but I do have a certain level of respect for what McVay and Stafford have accomplished. Cooper Kupp is one of my favorite receivers in the last decade for sure, and he's returning to action tonight. Puka Nacua is on the fence. It looks like I've seen a few reports come out that says that he's looking like he's going to play. But as of right now recording this video, I have not seen for sure that he's going to play. But I hope that he does. That would be sweet. It still won't change my opinion at all about how I think that this game's going to go down, okay? Another headline on the other side looking at it is Minnesota surprisingly started off 5-0. Nobody expected that. And they took an L. A lot of people are thinking that, like, for sure, this is going to be a scenario where Minnesota has basically got a dose of reality and it could potentially have a snowball effect on the next 4 to 6 weeks or even till the end of the year, okay? A lot of teams that start off this hot, undefeated, that like really were not expect like a straight dark horse that come out that hot. The majority of these teams over the course of time have fallen off once they got that first little taste of adversity and that first little dose of reality. I really don't see that being the case with this Vikings team, and it's because of how it's built. This team is designed the right way. They run the football and they stop the run. They block well, they tackle well. They force turnovers, they create pressure on the quarterback. Okay? It doesn't matter if it's 86 and sunny in Arizona, if it's 102 and humid in Miami, or if it's fucking negative 12 in Lambeau Field. That is a recipe for winning football at fucking Travels, whether you are in front of your home crowd or not. Okay? So, with that being said, you're damn right, I like the Minnesota Vikings -2.5 tonight, okay? I also like the under on the 48.5 points. I'm going to like the under 48.5 a lot less if Puka also decides to play tonight, because Minnesota has not had a great defense against the pass. They're pretty decent when it comes to yards per pass attempt, but the problem with Minnesota is that they are being thrown on more than most teams because they are the hottest team in the first quarter. So what happens to these teams when they come out and they get smacked in the mouth in the first quarter and all of a sudden they're losing by 20 in the blink of an eye? Their entire game plan changes, okay? And they start throwing the football more. They start abandoning the run game. They will get their running backs involved, but it'll be through screens, through quick game, okay? And when the defense backs off, they might get a draw here or there. Most of the time you see these teams take early deficits, their running backs still only finish with 9 to 15 carries, even if they're a premier back, okay? That's just how these games typically go. When you look at the Rams and what they do best, they throw the football. Anyways, Kyron Williams is a hell of a running back, okay? But this offense with McVay, really, with Cooper Kupp, with Puka Nacua, is designed to be a pass-heavy offense, okay? And they don't traditionally have a good defense under McVay, and they definitely don't have a good defense under McVay this season, okay? So they're not good against the run. They're not good against the pass. The Rams' defense is one of the worst in the NFL. It's probably averaging about 26th across all the metrics in the NFL. They're bad, okay? And even though Minnesota's not a powerhouse offensively, They're good enough passing and running the football. When you couple that with how good their defense is, they're forcing turnovers, they're getting the ball in plus territory. They don't have to move the majority of the football field. They start hot, they come out early, they catch teams off guard, and then because they can run the football and stop the run, they are going to have complete control playing with an advantage the rest of the game, especially considering they have the ability to get after the quarterback and force turnovers, okay? They're leading the league in interceptions. They're leading the league in turnover margin. If somehow, some way the Rams could come out just clicking on all cylinders, if they can come out on fire, there is a slight chance that they can stay in this ballgame. If they get behind early, if it's a 10, 13 point deficit after the first quarter, the Rams are fucked, okay? And that's exactly why I moved the alt spread on this game as well, okay? I like the alt spread. I moved, not only did I bet the -2.5 straight, one full unit, I also bet the alternate spreads -7.5 at a quarter of a unit, and I bet the alternate spread -12.5 at a tenth of a unit. Why do I weight those? Because if they lose, it doesn't cost me. And as long as they win by 2.5, all bets combined, I still come out ahead, okay? That's why it's important to weigh your bets and understand how to do math. Now I'm going to look at like a lot of the other parlays and some of the special bets that I really, really, really like in this game, and I'm going to do my best to get this to you with at least an hour to bet it, okay? If you like it. I'm not saying do it, because if I go broke, you go broke, we all go broke, nobody's happy, okay? Definitely do your own thing, but I'm just telling you what I like. So if you liked it too already, maybe we can do it together, all right? So other straight bets that I like, something I always like to do, man, you got to at least pick a couple anytime touchdown scores. And again, I'm not putting a full unit on this stuff, okay? It's not likely to happen. But in anytime touchdown, I'll typically put like a half a unit on. And I'm not picking a bunch of players. I'm typically going to pick one from each team, okay? In this case, I did 3. I like the Stafford anytime touchdown. I like the Kobe Parkinson anytime touchdown, and I like the Jalen Naylor anytime touchdown. Jalen Naylor is a receiver for the Vikings who is thought to be third fiddle. He quietly is second in receiving touchdowns, having 3 on the year, despite being third in targets. So that tells me he is definitely looked at in the red zone. Okay. Another thing that I like about him is that he hasn't scored in like 4 weeks, but he continues to pile up targets. He's not a target machine, but he's still been involved. It's not like he had a massive dip or absence. He's very spotty, hit and miss with his targets, but the fact that he hasn't scored in 3 or 4 weeks, man, I just think that he's due. Kobe Parkinson, if you look at what the Vikings have done against tight ends, man, against quality, solid tight ends that they've played this season, and they played a bunch of them, they've given up like an average of 7 receptions to each one of these guys and 60 to 80 yards receiving, most of which scoring a touchdown, okay? Kobe Parkinson already is second in targets since Cooper Kupp went down, okay? He is consistently getting 6 receptions a game, so I like the odds of him to get the ball, especially being a big target in the red zone. And Stafford scoring an anytime touchdown, man, to be honest with you, this one's just fun, all right? And that's why I didn't double up with a first touchdown prop on him. But I did put a tenth of a unit, just a very small little shot in the dark, tenth of a unit bet on Parkinson and Naylor, okay? So reason being, once again, if they're not the first touchdown scorer, but they do score a touchdown, then me putting that money down on them to be the first score doesn't fucking matter, because the other bet, the anytime bet, that where I put more weight into that bet, if it hits, it's going to cover it and then some, which is going to help me cover some other of the smaller bets, the tenth of a unit type of bets that I make that are long shot odds, all right? I like to put 3 big ones out there, okay? Let's say I put 10 eggs here, and then I'll put 5 eggs here, and then I'll put 3 eggs here, and then I'll put a few eggs scattered out there. I like to look at the board, and I like to spray it basically by confidence, okay? And by just likelihood, because that's what we're betting, odds. Other straight bets that I like, man, I like Stafford to throw an interception. He's protected the ball fairly well, but not great. I think he's thrown 5 interceptions on the year. And again, Minnesota leads the league in interceptions, and they lead the league in the turnover ratio, okay? Also, they lead the league in pass attempts against. The reason that they're being thrown on so much is not because their pass defense is bad. They are bottom 3 in yards allowed per game, but they're only like 12th in yards per attempt and completion percentage. The reason that they are at the bottom in yards per game is because of the volume they are being thrown against. They are having the ball thrown against them a lot more than other teams because they get out to early leads. You have to understand how this works. So if Matt Stafford, based on the odds and the analytics, if you just look at how these games typically go, you will see that odds are pretty good. The Vikings could come out hot and they could get up to an early lead. You also factor in that Stafford is among the top 10 in pass attempts per game anyways. You couple that with the potential to be down early and to throw more often. All of these things lead to more opportunities for a defense who is turnover prone to take the ball away from Stafford. So I like the interception there. Another thing that ties in with this right now, Stafford's over-under on pass attempts is only 33.5. He averages 33.5 against everybody else. Most of the quarterbacks have gone well above their season average against the Vikings. In this game, he's only projected to get his average. That feels like an easy money for a straight bet. Also, probably something that you could tie into a small parlay. That is very likely to happen. There are 2 special bets that I really, really like in this game. This one was absurd. Plus 410 when I found it. Plus 410 for Aaron Jones and Kyren Williams to each have 5 F-I-V-E, 5 rushing yards each quarter. Okay? The each quarter thing's kind of a bitch when you try to do these each quarter bets and these each half bets. They are fluky. But we're talking about 2 elite running backs that only have to get 5 rushing yards, 5 whole rushing yards. That's like from me to this camera, okay? 5. And the odds on that are plus 410 when I took it. That feels like a steal. And I know how good the Vikings rushing defense is, but I don't give a 5 yards at plus 400. That's crazy. I didn't even have to use a 30% boost on that. I did use a 30% boost on this one, though. Aaron Jones to get 10 rushing yards each quarter. A lot more tricky, but the Rams are not good against the run. They're not good against the pass either. But this is 100% going to be a game where Aaron Jones gets involved. He gets involved early. He always does. And if they're in any sort of situation like they normally are, and honestly, they like to run the football anyways, but he's not just a guy that's going to run if. He's a guy that's going to run. And this is a defense that's been carved up by running backs, man. 10 rushing yards each quarter. The odds on this, I'll pull them up on the screen. It's ridiculous. I used a no sweat token on a parlay here. So this is my first quarter prop that I really, really like, man. I love these first quarter props. So it come out to plus 868, and again, I used a no sweat token here so I could put a whole unit on it. Thank God FanDuel offers those, man. But Stafford 50-yard passing in the first quarter, that's what I'm worried about the most. That's the one. But Justin Jefferson to get 10 receiving yards, Tutu Atwell to get 10 receiving yards, and Aaron Jones to have 20 total yards rushing and or receiving, okay? Those 4 things come out plus 868. Those odds feel ridiculous, okay? The fourth quarter bets are a little fluky, but I've hit a couple of them this year, man, and they are huge when they hit, okay? One of my favorite bets, and again, this is why you bet things straight, okay, are what are called ladder bets, okay? And basically what a ladder bet is, or at least how I execute a ladder, is I pretty much will go where the plus odds begin, and I will bet a quarter of a unit across 4 steps of the ladder in a row, okay? So for example, in this case, I only did 3. So I put 33% of a unit. All of them add up to a full. And it's because of how the odds and the math breaks down. I'll explain that. But I like the Matt Stafford passing yards step ladder here. The first step of the ladder, I set at 275 yards passing. The second, 300. The third being 325 passing yards. And I bet the same thing on each one of these steps, okay? So a third of the ladder wins more than the total of all 3 bets combined. So the math there is telling you, as long as the first step of the ladder hits the 275 yards passing, as long as that hits, I break even. Actually, I come out a little bit ahead. Then the other 2 are just straight profit at ridiculous margins, okay? I love these ladder bets. I also set up a ladder on Tutu Atwell receptions. I set those at 5, 6, and 7 receptions. And I'll pull these up on the screen so you can look at them. Another ladder that I did was Kobe Parkinson receptions at 5, 6, 7, and 8. So obviously I spread the unit 4 across 4 numbers, not 3. And I didn't just bet the same thing on all of them because fuck it, I want to go broke. There's a lot of rhyme or reason to this. There's a lot of math that goes into this when I'm putting these in here. I want to set it up to where basically the first step hits and I break even or come out marginally ahead or even marginally behind. As long as I get the majority of my money back, I'm happy. And then the rest of it's just straight profit, baby. And you can lose 6 ladders and you hit 2 in a row and boom, you're right back. And these things hit all the time, man. The next Kobe Parkinson ladder that I did was on receiving yards, 50, 60, and 70. And I already told you why I did that. Because remember, I said all the tight ends that have gone against this Minnesota Vikings team, all the elites with elite quarterbacks or pretty damn good quarterbacks, all these guys have had great games. All these guys have had a shit ton of targets, average 6.5, 7 receptions across the board and about 60 to 80 yards, okay? Pulling up and looking at Kobe Parkinson's receptions ladder and his yards ladder, you look at the value of those versus what Minnesota's prone to give up versus what Kobe Parkinson averages to begin with. All signs point to, if this loses, I cannot be mad at myself for making this bet because it all makes too much sense. So if you trail me on that and you lose, you should not. And if you do, I'm sorry. You know, fuck, the setup is definitely there for that to come out and win. Those are the ones that I had highlighted. There's definitely a lot more that I made. I've got a total of 8 units bet on this one game alone. So overall, remember, over the course of the season, I'm only down 5. We could be in the green after one night, or shit, we could dig the hole even deeper. Who fucking knows? But all I know is that it's going to be a hell of a Thursday night game. One way or another, man, I'm going to be sweating out shit. You're going to be sweating out shit. We're going to be sweating together, man. But that's what makes this game so beautiful, man. Let's have a great week 8, man. Let's get it kicked off right tonight, man. Go win you some money.
How you play the game with the people that writing the rules? Ain't the fame that I'm after when paying the dues. I've been through the pain that's reflected in the attitude. Might be winning now, but the thing is that I had to lose. So go and tell me what you really want to do. And lonely at the top, cause there ain't a lot of room. Ain't no other option, that's all I ever knew. So I'ma get it poppin', you know how I'ma do. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. I've been down through the blood and the sweat, and I ain't close to being done yet. I'm going all in.